back in little old New Zealand, we have, on the 15th of October 2007, the government decided that there were terrorists in this sleepy little village of Tūhoe. And Jay Ryan here he's the captain of the STG force that are ordered to find terrorists in Tūhoe. And our man Cliff Curtis here plays the local school bus driver, who's also a police officer. So it's really about the dilemma of our police officer and local community cop as to whether he serves the badge or protects his community. So it's really Jay versus Cliff. The inspiration of telling the story and telling the story this way through Muru, it's an opportunity to come into a valley that has only ever been a headline for us, that's only ever been a little quick news bite of terrorists are here. And the inspiration really comes from the fact that there are no terrorists in Tūhoe, there is a community.
How did I get involved in the specific project Muru? Tearepa and I have a long-standing relationship going back, a couple of decades now, collaborating on other projects, short films, all the way up to this amazing feature film. And so, yeah, it's been an iterative. We've had many conversations, and then when this unique possibility of telling the story came about, plus Tearepa's take on this is not being a recreation of the events of 2007, but a response to 100 years of history within this valley and their relationship with the government. It seemed like a great idea for a movie, and he wanted to make it into somewhat of an action thriller type sort of thing, but also that opportunity to go into the actual community of Tūhoe, which is a very small, intimate place and a very rich place to be. So, okay, I want to go there. I want to meet these people and live amongst these people while we make this movie. So, yeah, we did that. We had an amazing time. It was incredible. Tamaiti is a central figure in the movie and is the real life person from the valley who was profiled as a domestic terrorist, and so he's in the movie with us. So, and I'd known him for many years as well. So the opportunity to work with him, his first time on screen as an actor, amazing. To get a real life artist, an iconic figure in our country, and when you see him, you'll see why. And to sort of like share that experience with him, with Tearepa, with Reikura, our producer. Jay came along board, and yeah, it's been great. It's been really, really great.
Well, we shot this pretty much in the middle of COVID, so I pleaded Cliff for a job for about 2 weeks. He finally let me in. I had one of our EPs, Tim White. I'd just done a film with him, and he mentioned that this project was happening, and would I like to come in and meet Cliff and Tearepa, and it just went from there. And I thought it was an amazing opportunity to change the narrative of what New Zealand is, believed from the media when this event happened in 2007. This is a response film, and, I wanted to be a part of it.
Well, what's great about our country is that we're telling a story about this with the support of our government. So, let's just put that out there. Other governments might not be so willing to participate in this kind of exploration of who we are as a nation. And so it's critical, and and I think it's healthy. I think it's a healthy state to be able to make a film about this, about who we are, and to examine those things that we're uncomfortable with. Yeah.
We staged this around the raid of 2007, but when I asked Tūhoe for their input and direction and blessing, they said, how can you tell a story about the events of a single day when our government have been doing this to us for over 100 years? So the scope and the direction of the response away from a recreation came from the valley, came from Tūhoe. And it's a lot to encapsulate a broken relationship, or a relationship that is defined by raids against these people, against our iwi of Tūhoe. So the canvas got bigger off the directions from the home front, where the story lived beyond the borders of the events of a single day. And that's what led to this response. So it encapsulates so much more than the events of a single day. And they directed us this way. And there's an opportunity to explore the breakdown and also allow for healing to take place, because this hasn't occurred once by our government to Tūhoe, but over a number of generations.
I wouldn't mind adding, that was a really important distinction, a response as opposed to a recreation. And so when we were in deep in development phase of the film, you know, I was like, what are we making? And for me to feel comfortable about like taking actual events and then fictionalizing them and sort of having an expansive idea or a more poetic approach to it, I came up with the idea that in my mind, this is an allegorical tale. There's a lesson with it. It's like, there's a pattern here. Do we need to keep repeating this pattern? Is there a way that we can get past this? And it's encapsulated beautifully in the name, I believe, which is Muru, which can be translated a number of different ways. I translate it as forgive. And I think that's the response to this history, but with the spirit of the name that Tearepa and Reikura came up with, which I think is beautiful, which is forgive.
Yeah, I mean, when I first read the script, that's what I found so shocking, that this happened 100 years before the events that we were responding to. And a whole lot of history I had no idea of, just what the media sort of portrayed it as at the time in 2007. And my family the same, you know, since they've seen this film, they've gone, oh, we get it. You know, in the beginning they were like, why are you doing this movie with Tommy Iti? You know, they believed what the media had kind of portrayed back then, still to this day. So
domestic terrorist.
Yeah. Why are you working with a
funny to
domestic?
meet the guy,
Yeah. He's an artist. He's a joyful man. He's got an exhibition on right now in New Zealand called "I Will Not Speak Māori," in response to the years that he was taught and, you know, told to scribble this repetitively, to stop speaking his reo, his language. So all of these things encapsulated in this one script is magic. I mean, on an international scale, I think people will respond to police brutality. This whole idea of, you know, citizens and weapons and how that doesn't mix very well. So I think a lot of people can relate to, you know, the idea of someone smashing your door down and coming into your home or your community unannounced with your children in bed in the middle of the night, middle of the day. You know, anyone can imagine that. It's, you know, as you grow up, you always think about, oh, the monster's coming, hide under the blankets. In this scenario, you know, the monster came. So I think people can relate to that feeling.
Good one, bro. I would like to think they'll relate to it as a film as well. You know, that it's a good film. I like to go to the cinema to watch cinema and to appreciate the craft and, you know, and our filmmaker here, and that sometimes I've read somebody encapsulated it very well, is that sometimes truth is better encapsulated, better realized through poetry than through you know, fact or documentary. So I'd like people to appreciate the poetry of it and to the allegory of it, and that there's truth in that and the artistry.
How can I go after those two? What is this live?
You wrote the movie. It's all good, man. You did your role.
I did the film.
Producer.
You wrote it.
The fact that you can speak like this about this is incredible. It blows my mind. One of the responsibilities we have as Indigenous filmmakers is to demask power and to demask the headline. So the opportunity here is for everyone to see themselves in this film, especially back in New Zealand and especially outside, who have this nice little tight green idea of New Zealand, Aotearoa. But the opportunity here is to come and see people demasked for the first time. So Tommy Iti becomes not Tommy Iti, the headline, but Tommy Iti, the best friend of Korotipi, of Sergeant Tawharo, and for everybody, all the characters in our canvas on our chessboard, they each are demasked through this story. And so the opportunity is to see everyone through human eyes for the first time. And that was a goodie.
Yeah, meet a community as of fellow humans, you know, exotic as they may be to some. Yeah, to meet the human aspect of the story come to the valley, come to Tuhoe, meet some people.
Yeah, you can. Choice.